ever noticed that there are many ways that someone may greet you in English? As it turns out, there are many greetings in English, both formal and informal. Today, I'm going to introduce you 20 common ways to greet someone in English and what the words and phrases really mean. Hello. Hello is a common and friendly greeting. It is frequently used when answering the phone and often used in semi-formal settings. For example, a store clerk might use hello when you walk into the store. In some cases, it may be used to show surprise, sarcasm, or anger as well. For example, hello, are you even listening? Hi. You've probably heard this greeting before, as it's a common and informal greeting used by many English speakers on a daily basis. It's a friendly way to say hello, and since it's only one syllable, it's easy to say. Make sure that you don't confuse this with the word hi, which wouldn't typically be used at the beginning of a sentence. Hey. Hey is another informal way to say hello. It can also be used to express surprise, excitement, or to get somebody's attention. For example, if you are playing a game with someone and they make a move that you don't particularly like, you could use hey as an interjection. Howdy. While howdy is slightly less common in many English-speaking areas, it is another informal and friendly greeting that is used particularly in Western or country-type settings. For example, you may hear someone be greeted, "Howdy, partner," in some movies. What's up? What's up is a slang term used to ask, what is happening? It is a friendly greeting that asks someone the question, how are you, at the same time as giving the greeting. You may hear it used particularly in situations when someone would expect there to be a particular need or situation that needs to be addressed. For example, a coworker may ask, "What's up?" when you come to their office door. People have gotten lazy with the pronunciation of this term over the years, and you may hear it spoken as "was up," "what up," or "was up." Sup. Although the meaning for sup is the exact same as what's up, I thought that sup deserved its own mention because it is a common word to hear, even though it really is just a shortened version of what's up. The other lazy ways of saying what's up still have the same number of syllables, where this word has been shortened to be a single syllable. While it is still a friendly greeting, it is typically used by cool people who seem to think that what's up is too long and hard to say. How are you? Although how are you is often accompanied by a previous hi, hello, or hey, it is also possible to hear this phrase by itself as a greeting. Technically, it means, what is the state of your health? But this is an informal greeting and therefore it does not require a literal response. It is usually used when you are greeting someone that you know, and a common answer is, I'm fine, or I'm okay, or I'm good. If I were to be on the phone with my mom, for example, I would likely answer the phone, "Hello, how are you?" And she would likely answer something like, "I'm fine." If I actually want an answer from her regarding the state of her health, I would need to re-ask the question, "How's it going?" This idiomatic expression is simply another way to ask how are you or what's up. It is a common conversation starter across many countries, although typically the first time it is asked in a conversation, the answer is expected to be fine or good. After this, if someone repeats the phrase or asks you another similar phrase, they are actually asking how things are in your life. How's it hanging? How's it hanging also asks the question, how are things going with you? However, it carries a slight reference to a boy's reproductive organs, so you want to be aware of who you use this phrase with. Although it is still polite, it would never be used in a formal setting, only with your peers and friends. What's new? While what's new literally is asking someone what is new in their life, it is often given as an informal greeting where the question is not meant to be answered in a literal way. Typically, the informal response would be something to the effect of, "Not much, you?" This in effect flips the greeting back around at the other person, who would also likely answer, "Oh, not much," before continuing the conversation. It is also often preceded by hi or hello, although it is possible to use it on its own. How are you doing? How are you doing is another phrase that often follows an initial hi, hello, or hey, but it is also an explicit ask about how someone is feeling. The meaning is the same as the other phrases, such as how are you or what's up, but it asks for a more detailed answer. In certain cases, it may also be used to check in on someone's health and well-being, even after an initial greeting is done, or it could be a way to assess if someone needs help. I'd also like to make a worthy mention here of how are you going, which is the same question as how are you doing, but is the phrasing used in different countries such as Australia. How are you feeling? This is another phrase that typically follows an initial hi or hello and is a similar question to many of the others previously listed. However, the question how are you feeling is a more direct inquiry into someone's health. Typically, this question would be asked if you know that someone hasn't been feeling well or if someone looks unwell. How do you do? Although this phrase appears to be similar to the other greetings that we have been looking at, how do you do is actually a more formal greeting that is usually only used with someone that you have not met before. It's a bit more of an old-fashioned idiom. However, you may still hear it as a polite greeting in a formal setting. Yo. Contrary to the previous formal greeting, yo is an extremely informal greeting. It's typically only used as a greeting with someone that you know well or to attract attention. It can be referred to as a slang interjection and is most commonly heard in North American English. Good morning. Good morning is typically used to greet someone in the morning. It has a similar meaning to hello and can be used in both formal and informal settings. The intention of the phrase is to suggest that someone should have a good morning. It is a very respectful greeting and can be used along with someone's formal title to make it even more formal. Since this is a time-based greeting, you would only use this phrase before noon. Good afternoon. If you are looking for an alternative to the previous good morning that you can use later in the day, good afternoon is the phrase that you are looking for. It carries the same meaning as good morning, although it's potentially used less than good morning, with many English speakers choosing to use the alternate greeting of hello after the noon hour has hit. This depends on the level of formality being sought, however. For example, I would say good morning to my mom, even though an informal greeting would be perfectly okay as well. However, I would rarely say good afternoon when answering a call from her. This is because good morning is a greeting for the day, whereas good afternoon would usually only be used in a more formal setting. Good evening. Good evening carries on the same meaning as the previous two phrases, although the timeline between good afternoon and good evening is less defined than the line between good morning and good afternoon. Most English speakers would likely choose good evening over good afternoon starting at about 6 p.m. or when the sun goes down. However, similar to good afternoon, good evening is a more formal phrase that would typically only be heard in formal speech for the evening. Most English speakers would choose a less formal greeting in most settings. Good day. Of course, rather than using a time-sensitive word like morning, afternoon, or evening, it is also possible to simply say good day. However, this phrase is quite formal and honestly old-fashioned. Good day can actually be used to say both hello and goodbye, and it is possibly more frequently heard as a farewell than as a greeting. There are two things that are important to note, however. First of all, we never say good night as a greeting, only as a way to say goodbye. Also, while good day is somewhat outdated and rarely used, the slang version of the phrase, g'day, is an informal way to greet someone, and it is frequently used in some regions that speak English, such as Australia. Welcome. The word welcome is used to greet someone in a friendly way. It is usually used when someone arrives at a location that you own or are responsible for, and it can be used to address a single person or a group of people. While this is a happy greeting, make sure that you use it in this context to avoid confusing the person listening to you. Greetings. Interestingly, the word greetings can be used as a greeting. However, if you are going to use it, make sure that you use it in the plural form rather than the singular form. This is a polite way to show welcome or recognition and is somewhat formal in use. Typically, you would hear greetings being used when the speaker is addressing a group, such as in a meeting. You may also hear it used in conjunction with other holiday-specific words, for example, season's greetings. With that being said, we have already learned 20 ways to greet someone, but I'd like to make a few holiday-specific honorable mentions. This is because during commonly celebrated holidays, you are likely to hear one of these phrases used in both formal and informal settings. So we would say, Happy Easter, Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, or Happy New Year. I hope that these greeting options help you to decode what you may hear, as well as when it is appropriate to use different greeting styles. Have a great day.